After 15 years, the co-founder and executive director of the North Dakota Autism Center is retiring. Sandy Smith, she joins us this morning to talk about the passion for helping families touched by autism, the center itself, and everything she's done to change the area. Good morning, Sandy. How's it going today?
Good morning. Pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you have quite the legacy. Before you were on, I had heard of everything that you have done, and so I just want to take it back to the beginning. What was your reason for pursuing this?
Yeah, and you know, this is a story that I've, kind of told many times, but my son, who is now 19 years old, was diagnosed with autism when he was only 22 months old. And I quickly found that there really wasn't anything in this area to provide the therapy that he needed. And it's a therapy, the acronym is ABA, but it's Applied Behavioral Analysis Therapy. That is what is the standard of care for kids with autism. And there was nothing in the state, no providers in the state. So if I wanted services for him, I had insurance because I worked at Microsoft at the time. I had insurance that would pay for it, but no providers. So it was either do something or move. And I picked do something. So that's kind of how we all got started with it.
And so you just kind of went mama bear and said, I'm going to help my child the best that I can and hopefully help others along the way.
Exactly. At first I was just focused on him, but I quickly realized that there were many other families that were running into the same problems. And so I kind of had that aha moment, actually driving down I-94 thinking, oh, this is it. This is what I'm supposed to do. I always kind of thought I was supposed to do something in the nonprofit charity type area, and one day I'm like, this is it. This is what I'm supposed to do. So yeah, we took the plunge. We started talking about it, and once you talk about it, I'm a goal-oriented person. So once you talk about it, you got to do it. And so here we are.
Yeah, after all these years. And so from doing that, what have you accomplished, or what have you seen? I mean, you've accomplished so much, the list could go on, but what are some of the major things that you look back on now from when you first started talking about it to where you are now, and you think, I'm actually pretty proud that we did that?
Oh man, there's a lot of things.
Yeah.
First of all, even just the access to ABA. I actually talked to a psychologist once up in Grand Forks who said, I don't actually give the diagnosis of autism because there are no services for these families. I don't want to give them that diagnosis and then they find out that there's nothing. That was, that really hurt me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they need to be told. And so we needed somebody here to provide access to this applied behavioral analysis therapy. There were many people who didn't even know what this treatment was, and so we had a lot of awareness to do at the beginning. And there's a particular professional that does mainly all of the treatment and the treatment plans, and that's a board certified behavior analyst. When we started this, there was one in the state, and she was actually working for a rural special education district. And so she wasn't technically practicing ABA in, a treatment setting, I would say. So when we opened in 2008, we had two. The one that we recruited back up to North Dakota, and then her. So now, however, there are 56 board certified behavior analysts in the state of North Dakota, and there are actually 10 over in Moorhead. So many of them also kind of come over and work in North Dakota as well. So you're talking about 67 additional professionals that can provide this service, and that's one of the key things that we really needed, was that lack of providers. And then comes the lack of funding. It was, I was one of the lucky ones who had insurance that would pay for it. Funding came a lot later. I would say, first of all, we also had trouble with BCBAs being licensed in the state of North Dakota. So lo and behold, I remember my, high school classes on law and all, or the legislature, all that kind of stuff. Yep, all that. So I ended up actually working with local representatives and senators to actually get a law passed to license board certified behavior analysts in the state of North Dakota. So that was something that I had not ever thought about doing. And then Medicaid at the time didn't pay for ABA therapy. So I worked with the state to get that into the state plan to make sure that clients or individuals who only had Medicaid. And then we also had a group of families that was really worked really hard on insurance reform. I think that was like during the 2017 legislative session. We didn't get anything passed, but we created a lot of awareness. And actually, John Gottfried, the North Dakota Insurance Commissioner, shortly after that, a few months after that, just declared through a bulletin that all of the North Dakota insurance companies had to pay for this. So that really opened up a wide, brush of people who could come and get the services. Yeah,
and
absolutely.
You've done so many amazing things, and I wish I could talk to you all day. But if we had just one quick thing that you want people to know about people with autism or that community, what would that be?
One thing. The Autism Center has a program called Autism Friendly Communities. And it's a program to train businesses, different things like that on how to serve people with autism when they come into your store, when they do this and they do that. I really wish that for an inclusive, a really truly inclusive autism friendly community where they all feel comfortable and can kind of go about what everybody else does at the same time.
Yep, no, and it starts in your heart, and your heart is so big, and you have made a difference in families, and so thank you.
Well, you're welcome.
For everything you do. And I would wish I could sit here forever and talk to you, but we do have to chat with some other guests. But yeah, the whole community and state really thanks you. But coming up here on today's show, it's FM Pride Week. We'll talk about the importance of the Fargo Police LGBTQ liaison. Stick around.